Hi there, everyone, and a very warm welcome. I'm Tom Poland. It's my pleasure to be a host today for Jeff Bullas. Jeff is internationally renowned and recognized blogger. He's also an author, a strategist, and he's a speaker. Works with companies and executives to optimize their online personal and company brands with digital content and social media marketing. He certainly walks the talk. He's the #1 content marketer, influencer from 6 million plus daily web updates. Awarded that in 2015, very recently by Opinions. He's listed as the #1 content marketer influenced by Analytica, and also last year ranked #8 on Forbes, the top 40 social marketing talents. #1 content marketer influencer globally in 2014. And the list just goes on and on. New York Times, Huffington Post, some of the biggest and best known publications in the world awarded by, have presented Jeff's with the top 10 awards or top award. The blog receives over 5 million web page views per year and is read in over 200 countries. I didn't even know there were 200 countries. So that's why I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted that Jeff accepted my invitation to come and present on 5 key strategies to grow your web traffic. Without further ado, Jeff, the floor is yours. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tom, for the introduction and for hosting this webinar today. And welcome to everyone from all around the world. And today we're going to be looking at 5 key strategies to grow your web traffic without paying Google or Facebook a cent. And this is basically insights on how I grew my traffic from zero when I started in 2009. And when I started, I had no traffic. But first, I'm going to tell a little bit about me, just so you know, we're sitting at the edge of screens here, peering into them, and it's very hard to touch and feel and get to know someone. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things about me that you maybe don't know, and yeah, just a bit of fun. I like wearing Lycra, guys, because I'm a road cyclist. So we just came back from South Africa and did the Argus, which is the biggest road cycle event, measured one in the world, 37,000 riders. And I love my road cycling, keeps me fit and gives me the energy I need to run the business and do the riding. So that's a little bit about me. Also, I am known for taking selfies sometimes from stage when doing keynotes. This is one from Mumbai, India at a blogging conference. And yep, that's just me having a bit of fun. So it was a great event. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I started in 2009 with just a $10 domain name investment. And since then, it's been a really interesting ride. I had no traffic when I started, as all of us do. We all start from zero. And I managed to grow my Twitter followers and also be nominated by Forbes as one of the top social media influencers. And we're approaching 20 million visitors since I launched in 2009. So just a little bit about me. Now, we all have challenges, right? And life is a challenge. And this, when we all start our blog or we start a website and we're trying to attract visitors, because in this digital world, if you don't get traffic, nothing happens. You really got to get traffic to your website. And this is the biggest challenge. It's just that little or no traffic. And it's frustrating for everyone. A lot of us don't have the big budgets to go and pay Facebook ads or do Google AdWords to get that traffic. So you got to go out and earn it. So this is the biggest challenge for a lot of us, is that when you start, you've got that little or no traffic, and it's very frustrating. And with 1 billion websites and counting, it's really difficult to get that breakthrough, that all that noise and clutter and data. So, you know, you've got to get traffic, and that's the biggest challenge for us when we start. A lot of us have little or no time. You know, we live in a time-poor world, and we've got to learn how to be productive and focused and, you know, use our time wisely and well. And, you know, so that's a big challenge for a lot of us. The other one that has happened is that organic traffic from Facebook has dropped to almost nothing these days. And now, one of the things that attracted me to social media when I started the blog and I started writing about social media and digital marketing is that you could actually publish and reach the world and attract traffic. And, you know, that was really, really exciting. The ability to bypass the gatekeepers. You didn't have to beg for attention from journalists to get, your articles out there. You could start your own blog and you could actually start publishing and start building your own online attention. It was a democratization of both publishing and marketing and even entrepreneurship. We're seeing this democratization of almost anything, and that's what this social web has given us. And this excited me when I saw Facebook and Twitter emerging. I went, wow, I can actually reach the world from my own home office or from a coffee shop without paying people for that. And I saw this, what was happening with social media was this incredible, I suppose, obsessiveness about social. And it's still today is that we are even obsessed with not only social, but our mobile phones. So one of these charms of social media was getting, traffic, without paying for it. But Facebook changed the rules when it went public. Someone had to pay their employees, and nothing wrong with that. So what's had to happen is we've had to evolve how we get traffic. So this is a challenge, basically trying to use social media as well as possible so we actually get traffic from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. But now the other one is we're struggling to get discovered online. We're all, have this problem. As I mentioned before, there's last count there was 1 billion websites, and so getting discovered is one of your biggest challenges. So that's what you have to do, but there's no way of getting around it. That's what you've got to do. And the other one is you just get frustrated by the lack of progress that you're making. You're going, well, when can I break through? And for me, I understand that perfectly because when I started, it took me 6 months to start to get meaningful traffic. Like initially when I published, no one knew I existed. There was only 5 visitors a week, 5 a day. Then it went up to 100 a day. But you just got to persist. There is no way around this. But I want to paint a picture of what I call the overall traffic landscape on the web. And essentially, there are 3 types of traffic. And I use this diagram to explain it. And it's really important that you actually understand how this works. All right? Now, you can go and pay for traffic, all right? That's fine. Okay, so Facebook ads, Google AdWords, and you can drive them to your website or your blog, okay? Now, a lot of people just go and do this. They go and basically do a $20 sponsored post on Facebook, and they drive traffic. But you've got to be careful if you're doing that and paying for it. You've got to make sure that you're measuring the traffic. In other words, if you're spending $20, you just don't want to be spending $20 just to get traffic. You want to be able to convert that into leads and sales. So you need to be saying, okay, if I run $100 worth of advertising, what's that going to produce in terms of leads? Is it going to produce 10 new email subscribers? Is that going to turn into 1 customer? And what's the average value of the customer? So if you're going to pay for traffic, make sure you can measure it. So that's the paid traffic part, right? It's easy and it's instant because basically you can pull out the credit card, you can go into Facebook, and you can just start driving traffic straight away. The other way to do it, which is talk more about today, is earning traffic. And this is, building tribes on social media. It's getting that authority from Google that, basically you're ranking in Google search engine results. In other words, you're appearing on page 1. And so this is really important to understand that you can earn traffic. The challenge with this, though, is that it takes time. In other words, for a lot of websites and blogs, they don't start to get meaningful traffic out of this for 6 to 12 months, and that can be a long time. So if you've got time but little money, then earned traffic is great. And that's where a lot of us do start, okay? And I had to go and earn both, build my Twitter followers, build my tribes on social media, and also earn authority with Google. Now, the goal of paid traffic and earned traffic is to turn it into what is known as owned traffic. Now, owned traffic is your email list, because as we showed that as Facebook changes its algorithm and the social web is moving away from free to more paid, then you basically got to make sure that you take this traffic that is paid and earned and turn it into traffic that you own. It's your email list. And that's done with a call to action. All right, that's a landing page. You give away something for free. And we're going to touch a little bit on that in a minute. But really important to understand this. So your goal is to turn paid and earned into owned. Because what happens is that paid traffic and earned traffic, they all keep changing the rules. Facebook changes the rules. Google keeps changing the rules. All the social media, we've heard about Instagram and Twitter moving towards more what Twitter wants to show you, what Instagram wants to show you, not this chronological news feed, which is what Facebook moved away from. So I want you to really understand how this web traffic landscape really works. So to give you an idea how important organic is, to give you an example, here's a bit of a screenshot which I took a few months ago. Organic search can produce a lot more than social. A lot of people say, well, social media drives so much traffic. Well, in fact, the reality is it drives, over time, organic search engine results can drive 300% more traffic than social. And direct can be from your email. It can be from people typing your name directly into their browser. So understand the importance of these different types of traffic sources, and not to be just relying on one source. And I remember a story a couple of years ago that someone was relying just on Facebook for their traffic. And when Facebook changed its rules, guess what? Their traffic dropped by 90%. Pretty scary, isn't it, if we're just relying on one source for most of your traffic. So let's have a look at the 5 key strategy. Number 1, social media. And this is where I started to get my traffic from day one. And important to understand how this works. That, social media, it really was a game changer. This web became the social web, has become the social and mobile web. And social media was this game changer that put the power back in the hands of the blogger. You didn't have to just go and build an email list. You now had means to actually build brand awareness. And you got to understand that the role of social media is not so much to actually make money. It's more about this, what I call top of the funnel, top of mind, brand awareness, where you're not forgotten. People say, oh yeah, I saw Jeff Bullas' blog, or I saw Tom's blog post, and I saw it on Facebook, and guess what? I better go and check Tom because he's got some really good stuff there. So it's important to understand that social media's role in terms of traffic and marketing. And as we mentioned before, this social media free lunch is starting to get harder to actually get for free. So understand that, if you're going to be using Twitter and so on, understand this is going to be, could be slowly being taken away from you. So I would encourage all of you to understand that doing this now is important. That's why I've built a Twitter following of nearly 450,000, because for me, looking down the track, I could see that social media was going to change this free lunch rule, okay? Because at the end of the day, they've got to make money out of the platforms. Twitter's got 3,000 employees. Someone's got to pay those wages, guys. So Facebook. Okay, so how can we generate traffic on Facebook? I'm just going to touch on some of the top ways, all right? And some of these are, well known, but have a look at how these rules have changed initially with Facebook, moving to pushing you for pay to play. All right, you can see that the drop in organic traffic dropped from 12% down to 6% just over a few months. In fact, this number is a lot worse now. So understand that it's being wound back. But how can you do it? Well, make sure that you put your blog posts out on Facebook every time you actually publish, and use really, great images that are enticing, be interesting. So, and of course you can see you can boost the post if you want, but I believe a lot of money is being wasted just by people clicking on boost the post and not measuring the effect of it, or driving it to a page or actually turning it into own traffic. But we can see here that it says it reached 2,567 people, and there's 12 people like this. Now, a few years ago, there would be many more likes than this. So this is done in 2015. One I've found that really, really works well, and people love sharing a lot, is these little mini infographics. So quite often I share a mini infographic as part of the blog post. It's not just text, and this will tend to get shared a lot. And you can see here, 259 likes, 11 comments, and 107 shares. So this obviously was a very attractive piece of content to share. So the challenge for you as a publisher, whether it's your own blog or your website, is to actually make your content interesting. You've got to say, okay, what is going to get shared? Because the social web is all about sharing, guys. We need to understand that. So it's not just putting it there and hoping it's going to work. It's basically, okay, what types of content is really going to work? Now, this is an oldie but a goodie. It's the quote turned into a visual. Okay, so this one from Seth Godin I put up, and again got shared 33 times, 113 likes. So what you're doing here is you actually just trying to generate that brand awareness. Do not rely upon this for making money. Okay, I'm telling you right now, this is all about getting traffic to your site and then capturing and building that own traffic that is so important. Running competitions, okay, is a great app called Heyo that runs this, really low-cost app that allows you to capture emails pretty easily. Great app, I'd recommend, and also to run competitions. Now, for me, my secret sauce in social media was I paid a lot of attention to Twitter early on because I noticed that it was able to drive traffic very, very quickly. Simple to use. In fact, that was one of the things that attracted me to Twitter was its simplicity. And when I leapt onto Twitter, I think there was only 5 million users at that time in 2008. I got on December 2008, and actually discovered the first tweet I put up the other day. And some of you wouldn't get this, but I found out what it was. It's a tool that allows you to go and find the first tweet you did, and it was watching the cricket. Now, for those of you, it's not an insect. It's actually a game played in places as obscure as the UK, England, India, the West Indies, Australia, South Africa. Yeah. So watching the cricket, that was a pretty deep comment, wasn't on Twitter. So I got onto Twitter and discovered that by growing my followers, I could actually get traffic. And 75% of my social media traffic is actually from Twitter. So number one tip here, and I'd encourage all of you, is to learn the art of writing headlines. It is so important because basically 5 times as many people will read the headline as read the body content. So if your headline is interesting enough that is so tempting they want to read the rest of the article and click on the link, then the headline's done its job. And that's a challenge. And I would recommend to all of you, in terms of getting traffic, is to learn to write the best headlines you can. Experiment and see what works. On Twitter, and also it's been adapted by the other networks now, is to use hashtags. And hashtags are really important in terms of putting hashtags. Essentially, it's like a categorization of the tweet. In other words, you might go hashtag social media, and people can put in that hashtag into Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, and can find all the content based upon that categorization. So I think of it as like a mini search engine within social media. And here's the number. Okay, you can get 200% more engagement with hashtags than without. All right, so and people say, well, how many hashtags should you use? Well, don't agonize too much over this. 2 or 3 is good. I've seen 4 or 5 used. Just test and see what works. The other thing you need to be doing is growing your followers. And for me, this was, marketing 101 when I discovered social media. I said, well, if I've got more followers, that means more people reading my stuff, which is going to generate more traffic, which is going to get me more attention, which then allows me to capture those important emails. So growing your followers is really important to do. And you can use a tool such as I've got here, Tweepy, which allows you, and I'm going to give you a little inside secret here, guys. Okay, if you basically use Tweepy, you can go and check on your competitors, see who their followers are, and those followers are already qualified because they are following your competitor because they're interested in that topic. It might be, photography. It might photography blogger. It might be a fashion blogger. It might be, whatever the category is. If you follow their followers, then the human law of reciprocation cuts in. It's like, oh, someone followed me on Twitter. Should I follow them back? So what you do is you get a percentage that follow you back, and they're already a qualified follower because they're interested in the topic because they're following your competitor in your niche. So understand that growing your followers and using a tool such as Tweepy, and the tool here only costs about, I think, $15 to $20 a month US. Great little tool to actually build your followers. You can also automate. I use, basically, a lot of people used to give me a really hard time when I started automating about 5-6 years ago with social media. I used tools like Social Oomph that allowed me to send out recurring tweets. Is that this saves me 110 hours per month because I don't have to manually tweet. What I'm doing is I'm tweeting out my best posts all the time, trying to let people know here's some interesting content for you to read and adding value to my readers on social media. And then they discover you. And this can be set on semi-autopilot and save you a lot of time. So, social media is great, but it can be a huge time suck and really, can kill your productivity if you're not careful. All you do is just get sucked into playing on social media channels. There's work to do. So understand that automation, digital marketing automation is becoming the norm now, and it's not that expensive. And I would encourage all of you to consider, automating more and more of your marketing. It doesn't mean you stop being human or having chats or running webinars or running blabs or whatever you want to do, but essentially you've got to be productive. Now, one thing I really discovered well was I could drive a lot more traffic if I used visual tweets. And Twitter introduced this about 2 years ago. So I discovered that a headline, and you notice a few hashtags there, and then the link. But using this, you can see this got 46 retweets just by using a visual tweet. Now, I can almost guarantee if it was just a straight text tweet, that number would be very, very much lower. So here's an experiment, and we still do these today to see which of our visual tweets work well. We tried this one, which basically got 44 retweets. And then an hour later, we ran another one. It got 22 retweets. Then we ran another one an hour later, and we got 21 retweets. So which one do you think we're going to be put into our recurring tweet stream using Social Oomph? We're going to be using basically this one, which got 44. So understand the importance of doing. This is essentially what could be known as AB or ABC split testing. We're testing to see which visual tweet worked best. So then we did this one as well as 21. So the other one that I experimented with was I was only tweeting every hour or two, and then I decided to say tweet every 30 minutes, and then I said, well, why don't I just change it to tweeting every 15 minutes? And guess what? It worked. And one of the big social media measurement platforms measured 15-minute tweets versus 30-minute tweets, and they found increased traffic from Twitter by 31% and increased engagement by 89%. Okay, so pretty amazing in terms of just doing the 15 minutes, because you've got to think of Twitter as just people dropping in to see Twitter, and typically the average Twitter users are only there for 20 minutes a day. So if you're doing every 30 minutes, they might not see your tweet if they're not scanning it. So tweet often. And it's not about tweeting the same stuff all the time. It's about giving them different. So I set up recurring tweets of evergreen content. And I don't repeat tweets except for some of the marketing ones for up to 6 days. And also, one more tip on Twitter is basically I used Twitter feed, which essentially allows me to share other bloggers' content on automation as well. You can see this little bit of a theme of automation is used where I can because of the time saving it is for me and the team. And what happens is I can actually, as soon as this is an RSS detection feed and now on Twitter feed, and then as soon as Seth Godin or someone publishes a post, bloggers that I trust and trust their content, it will be shared with my Twitter stream. So understand the importance of this. Okay, so Twitter has been one of my secret sources. So you might have detected that both by my attitude and also some of the tactics. Now, LinkedIn can still be a great driver of traffic. What do you do here? Well, make sure that people can find your sites, whether it's a blog, whether it's your Facebook page, whether it's your website. Put in your links into your LinkedIn profile. The other one that can work very, very well is the publishing platform. It's been out a couple of years now. understand the importance of using this. And I put in a fairly controversial post. It was in May 2014, so it was 2 years ago, and this was shortly after LinkedIn's publishing platform became available to everyone. And this just went viral. Now, viral is great, guys, but it's more hit and miss. It's, lucky if you get it. But again, you should understand the importance of a great headline, essentially, and then getting that traffic from there. So this post, which actually I put on my own post, and then I put on my own blog, and then put it actually on LinkedIn as well a few days later. This just exploded on LinkedIn. It was actually the #1 article on LinkedIn for the week globally. So this was maybe just a little bit lucky, but it's also about the headline and also about timing. So, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying to hit it out of the park. Just don't rely on viral traffic being your main driver. Okay? So use the publishing platform. Okay, if you're going to use the publishing platform, link to your website at the bottom. In other words, make it easy for people to find you. Really important. So it's this whole optimization of your digital platforms and your social channels and your email that's important in terms of getting that traffic, because it's all incremental, and then the sum of the whole gets really, really exciting once you start doing this. Okay, so the other one too is you might be putting all your posts from your blog on LinkedIn, but you might want to just basically put updates onto LinkedIn. Share an update, which is one of your blog posts. And we do this as a matter of course for every blog post. So social media, great, but there's more. So search engines. Search engines are really, really important because they give you traffic for free, and we all love free. But it does take time to earn that authority to actually rank high on Google. But there's a few things you can do to accelerate that, and let's have a look at some of them. Okay, understand that you see these emails go out. It used to be happening a lot more a couple of years ago. It's like, buy our service, $99 a month will rank you #1 on Google within 2 weeks or something. And that basically is snake oil. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. So understand that you need to earn authority with Google. Google's kept refining its algorithm so that it actually you need to keep adapting to this, but they keep changing the algorithms, so they're actually trying to put the best type of content in front of people, because Google's mission is basically to offer quality content to people, not garbage. So their idea is basically about providing great user experience, providing really great type of content that does answer the questions that people are now starting and have been using for a while when they put in questions even into Google. So understand that they will keep changing algorithms. So 5, 6, 7 years ago, you could write short blog posts and be easy to rank high in Google. Okay, it's getting tougher now, and Google started putting in, you need to actually put in longer blog posts. So we moved from 300-400 word blog posts and not doing as many, but doing 1,500, even up to 2,000 to 3,000 word blog posts. That positions you as an authority in your space. So yes, as you can see, I just want to give you an idea of how quickly the algorithms can change. They can go up, they can go down, and suddenly your traffic can drop from 55%, which is about what I get now, down to 45 because Google changed the algorithm. It goes back up again. So referring pages that link to you, the inbound links from other websites that love your content and then point to your site, they're known as referring pages. One of the best things you can do is, as you start creating content, is use 25 to 50 key phrases that you would use as your headline, as the key phrases that you would be using. In other words, could be 10 ways to increase traffic to your blog, right? And you can just start typing that into Google, and Google will come up with the top ranking phrases. So it can be as easy as that. You don't have to make this too complex. So then you can use some simple plugins by, basically one of the best ones around is Yoast, WordPress SEO by Yoast. And what you do is it just guides you to put in the key phrases and where you should be putting them. In other words, in the snippet preview, in the focus keyword, in the title, and then even in the meta description. And these all make it easier for Google to know what you're writing about and then to rank you. So this is something we do before every blog post is published. We actually just do this simple few steps of making sure we're optimizing for search engines. Because at the end of the day, as you earn authority, that it will drive 300% more traffic than social. Now, I've got a big social media presence, and the reality is that 55% of my traffic, earned traffic, is from search engines, Google, and about 18% is from social. So I looked at my numbers, keep looking at it, and it's that magic number of 300% seems to be about right. Now, creating one piece of content on your topic isn't just going to be enough. So I rank quite highly in terms of social media facts, and so I will create regular content, which is known as, I suppose, pillar content around these types of social media facts. So that's a bit about search engine, guys, just to give you some simple tactics you can use that you mightn't considered or hadn't heard about. So remember we talked about owning your traffic. This is your email list. So this is strategy number 3 that will get you that free traffic without paying Google or Facebook. Again, the challenge is it takes time to build that list. And I really didn't work hard on this from day one. So I've made all these mistakes. I didn't really optimize early on for search engines. I didn't concentrate on building that email list. So today, I've fixed those. I learned from, trying different things and realized that I needed to get this own traffic to build that list. But it takes time. All right. Now, what's really great about it, though, is it's not reliant upon changing algorithms or Facebook changing the rules. Really important to understand that. So remember this diagram? Paid and earned. Your goal as a blogger and a website owner, whether you're running an e-commerce site, whether you have a corporate website, is basically when you get people showing up on your website is to convert them into basically own traffic. Really, really important to understand that. And I would recommend to all of you is start implementing this tactic straight after this webinar. Speak to your website designer, I don't care who it is, just start doing this. And of course, we've all seen this. Give away something for free, all right? One of the most successful ones still works for me well is giving away free ebooks. The challenge with these is they do take a little bit of time, okay? So if you maybe don't have the time, you can maybe hire someone to write them for you. There's plenty of writers out there. A lot of journalists have been laid off, guys. So understand that getting a free book is a great way. And I've found this tactic to work very, very well. And then put this call to action box at the top right-hand corner of your blog or your website. Use a pop-up, okay? And one I've been using lately, this isn't it here, but is one from Sumo Me, which uses a welcome mat. I found that is an incredible way to actually capture those important emails by giving that something away for free. Now, you can offer massive value, just like we have here with Kissmetrics. Great to have, something that's of massive value. The challenge for offering massive value is you're going to have to, there's a lot of work to do that. Again, you can maybe outsource that. But you don't have to do that. You can actually make it quite simple. This is the one I actually offer on my opt-in Monster app, which actually captures emails when people go to exit the site. So it can just be a simple one-page PDF. And think about it, this shouldn't be that. This will not take much to actually put together. All right. And the thing to remember is think about the tools that have worked for you, and just think about what is a group of those that would offer people great value. If they use these tools, they can grow their traffic, web traffic. That's what I'm talking about. Think about a golf site, for example. If they said these are the best clubs to use, it's the tools for the golfer. So, and we'll all we always see this, people are wanting to use the pro golfers' best tools, the guys at #1 in the world. That's why Nike will sponsor them. Here's the clubs, go and buy them. And people think by buying those clubs, they're going to be, just like Tiger Woods, or maybe like he used to be. So it can be really simple, guys. It doesn't have to be complex. Maybe mix it up and try and see which ones work best. Boost blog traffic. John Morrow does a great job here. He actually just has the home page as an opt-in form. Essentially, just enter your email, submit, and he'll give you this great cheat sheet for writing blog posts that go viral. Okay, so these are really important, just ideas for you to actually test. Some of you might be more comfortable with an ebook. Some of you might just want to do a simple page PDF. Maybe do both and see how they work. The other thing too is, and I've just found here, is lead pages is one of the best tools I've discovered to quickly and easily build landing pages that allow you, and we use them for this webinar. Both Tom and I both use lead pages, and you can actually create something like this in just a few minutes, and then integrate it into your email package. So essentially, lead pages offer these easy to create landing pages that you can use to actually capture those emails. Okay, fourth tactic, content marketing. Content marketing, essentially the power of content to attract an audience to you is become the new black in marketing. And as a blogger, I was a content creator, and before the term content marketing was created, there was another term called inbound marketing, and HubSpot used that. I'm so sure some of you have heard of HubSpot. They essentially, what they were doing was they're inviting everyone in to, read their stuff, right? In fact, one of the main reasons I subscribed to HubSpot was because it had great content, and I wanted to read it and I wanted to learn off it. So again, the underlying theme here, one of the underlying strong themes here is headlines, all right? And, this one, for example, big lists work. All right, you've seen them on BuzzFeed, 27 ways wombats eat food and all that crazy stuff. But they might seem redundant to some of you, but guess what? They work. End of story. So, doesn't mean you make every one of your blog posts a mega post. It just means that you would need to mix up and add these from time to time. Negative headlines. So I remember I leapt on a plane and I wrote this post just before I left, and I hit London and I opened up my blog, checked my traffic stats, and this had just almost gone viral. In fact, it had gone viral. And then I said, okay, let's test it with a positive headline a week later. And the numbers, this is a few years ago, this has had about 120,000 views, and the positive one, 20 things you should share on social media, has got about 15,000. So negative headlines work, and you can teach a positive, you can teach something positive with a negative headline. So, go and test some negative headlines, guys. Really important to understand. Controversial, we've seen this one. Okay. It doesn't mean I was telling people to forget Facebook. It was basically why you should forget Facebook is because it's organic. If you want relying on Facebook for organic free traffic, then this is almost impossible to do these days. So that was the premise of the headline. Doesn't mean it should, some people would say, this is clickbait, Jeff. And I'm saying, well, it's clickbait, but it's backed up with the facts. And there was a lot of good facts I used that here that I sourced from a variety of places to actually back up this argument. Okay, curiosity gap. Who is using Twitter? Who is using Twitter? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? You can't imagine. So BuzzFeed, Viral Nova, these are big news sites, guys. I know that, but you can learn a lot from how these guys actually use the social web to drive traffic. So the curiosity gap headline, ask a question. You can't believe what happened when blah, blah, blah. So understand the importance of not giving away what your whole blog post is about. You basically want to tempt them to click and read, all right? So the curiosity gap works. The topical headline. And you might find that certain topics within industries change, like in social media, visual content marketing, visual content is really become top of mind. Infographics were hot 2 or 3 years ago, and they still work well, but they were really hot 2 or 3 years ago. So just think about what is trending in your industry and then work that way. I've got a lot of people's blogs and all websites, and I'm going, okay, I want to share this. And I go looking for the share buttons, and I can't find them. Or they're so small, or they're buried at the bottom, or it's one little button that opens up and then you can share it. Don't make it hard to share. Really important to understand that. Okay, it is the social web. Now, this is one lesson I learned after reading a Tim Ferriss blog post a few years ago. Evergreen content. In other words, if you're writing just topical news-based content, that's going to be old news tomorrow. It isn't worth sharing again. So you can't retweet it. You can't tweet it again a few days later, even a month later. So principle-based content, such as this one, 10 Commandments of Content Marketing, understand the importance of evergreen content. That means I can keep sharing it, all right? And it has endurance. Important to understand evergreen content. Now, repurpose your content. Really important to understand that you not only need to publish it on your blog or your website, you need to put it in all sorts of other places. In fact, BuzzFeed, their web traffic has stayed much the same, about 80 million, I think, unique viewers a month. But now there's about 6 billion views on other different media sites all around, from YouTube to Facebook to Twitter to Flipboard. So what I do with all of my content here is actually get shared onto Flipboard as a matter of course. And this Flipboard is about 50 million users now. So think about repurposing. Repurposing can be putting content onto Flipboard, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+. Google+ don't use so more because it actually doesn't generate hardly any traffic. So again, you've got to work out what platforms work within your niche. If you're in interior design, photography, then Pinterest is going to be big. Female demographic, Pinterest is going to be great. Instagram, younger generation, lots of food and so on. So understand where you should be putting that content. Last tactic is you need to understand the power of mobile. When I started the blog, there was really very, very, the smartphone had only just been out, I think, 1 year. And what's happened is that mobile is becoming one of the biggest drivers of traffic. In other words, you've got to make sure that you're optimizing your blog, your website for mobile, and then make it easy for sharing. So just to give you an idea, when I changed from a static site, well, basically just a desktop site to a mobile site, traffic went from 6% to only 23% from mobile. So over a 300% change. So if you haven't changed your site to being mobile friendly, I think it's time to do it. So here's just an example of making it easy to read on a mobile. Here's a shot done showing you essentially that you can read the post easily. You can scroll down through here. Calls to action can be also made so they're mobile friendly. Okay, here's an example using a theme as a demo here. The other one is use an app as well. Now, an app's maybe not essential, but the cost of actually getting an app developed for your site is now becoming cheaper and cheaper. So, and as technology has simplified doing things, and we find that this is really important. So, mobile, create a responsive website for your or blog, make it easy for people to share, and make it easy for people to subscribe to email list. So these calls to action, and I remember I mentioned lead pages before. Well, lead pages is mobile friendly. So when you create those pages, they not only are interesting or easy to view on a desktop, they're also very easy to view on a mobile. Excuse me, a drink here. So just a couple of case studies. Right to Done decided that what they do is they just grow their Twitter followers. I had a chat to Mary, and Mary decided to start building her Twitter followers in a focused fashion using the tools I've mentioned, like Tweepy. And 3 months later, they got 65,000 followers from only having 9.5. and they were getting 274% more traffic from Twitter than when they started. Firebrand Talent, they now they followed my strategy in terms of building followers on Twitter. They get share gets hundreds of times, and they last 12 months they've increased their blog traffic by over 90%. So basically, what is my content publishing and hustling process to get that traffic out there? Craft a great headline, make sure that you're optimizing for those in search engines, share it on social, share it several times on Twitter. One tweet is not enough, guys. Send it to your email list, flip it to your Flipboard magazine, go and create one of those. Then you can turn it into a recurring tweet on Social Oomph, then keep growing your Twitter followers, and then keep experimenting and measuring and see, because what's happening is the web is constantly changing. So these are some of the important things I understand. This is what I do after actually creating the content. So the 5 key strategies to grow your traffic. These are just the top ones. There are some other ones which I haven't touched on today. Social media, search engines, email, use content, and also make sure that you're optimizing for mobile. So what I've done today too in talking to Tom is that I wanted to offer some great value for readers as well that are here on the session. And what I've done is I've got a blogging course, in other words, and touches on these things such as growing your traffic, creating great content, building your email list, and so on. And this is something that I've decided to put together just for Tom's readers, which are on the call today. So this is an online course. It's 7 key steps to blogging mastery. What you'll get with one of these is 9 complete training modules. You'll get over 40 videos and more than 4 hours of stellar content. It's all done in a snack size range, guys. So if you want to actually get this, what we're doing is we're teaching you all this stuff, okay? Some of you, I know that you start a website, not quite sure what you want to, or you haven't started a blog yet. A blog is one of the easiest ways to start building an online presence. And we show you how to discover your true passion. We look at how to identify who your target audience is. We then show you to position yourself as a thought leader in your industry, launch it, create that great content. We also look at how to actually, find that ideas for creating that fresh new content. Also, we look at, some of the great simple ways to monetize and package your knowledge and start earning money from your blog quickly, and build that lifestyle that you maybe dreamed about. And also looked at the no-nonsense way to create a valuable product that your people will line up to buy. So, and then we'll also teach you how to hustle your content. So this is, essentially I've given you a bit of a snapshot of what's within the course today. I used to do this as a $1,397 one-day workshop, and for the next 48 hours, we're actually offering it, and for viewers, for instead of $50, it's $25, okay? So if this is of interest to you guys, I've just done this as a courtesy to Tom for his readers and for taking the time to actually turn up today. This is the link. I'm just going to put it into the chat box now. So, and you can get the link from here, and also we'll be sending out an email. So here we go. So I've just put out the link in terms of getting it in the chat box there. If you get that there, it'll take you to where you can check out a little bit more about the course. It's a landing page done in lead pages. So I walk the talk. So that's the link to go and grab that today. It's limited. It's available for the next 48 hours, and after that, it will be gone. So, all right. So, let's hand it over to Q&A for the moment. So, any questions out there, we're happy to answer them. And Tom, maybe you have a question. So we've got someone's asking, I don't have a blog site. Will this course me how to set one up? Yes, it will go into the basics and basically what you need to do. Now, some of you will be able to do that yourself. You can either do it yourself, or you can just hire a blog designer and give them the instructions of how you want it done. So yes, it will teach you the basics of setting up a blog that works.
Jeff, hi, Tom here.
Hi, Tom.
Well, you've answered my question, which was around where do people start, because there's a wealth of information and effective strategies that you've shared with us, and thanks for pulling back the curtain so completely. And so I guess with all of the different things that we can do to drive traffic, build lists, etc., my question was going to be, where should someone start? But you've answered the question with that offer, which I'd completely forgotten about. Yeah, so folks, do avail yourself of that. I don't believe you'll find anything that's as effective in terms of building your own global platform, and certainly nothing for that price, I should say. Yeah, so $25, kind of a bit of a no-brainer. I hope everyone else agrees with me. Jeff, now I can't see the questions panel, but you probably can. I guess the question I could actually repeat is, obviously people should be doing the $25 course and learn the basics. Where do people start? I mean, do they just start with a raw blog and then learn how to boost the posts and how to tweet it and everything else? But what's the starting point?
Okay, for me, it was understanding what my passionate purpose was, and I was intrigued by. For me, it was both my innate experience or innate ability, experience, and also passion. And I was just completely, I was intrigued by social media, and I saw it as going, transforming things, and that proved to be true. So I just wanted to start creating content around that. And I think for me, the blog was a passion project that then evolved into a full-time career. Now it takes me around the world speaking. So I discovered the power of actually creating. And for me, that was starting with a blog and then sharing my findings, what I discovered elsewhere on my blog. So the blog is my digital portal, and that's for me was really, really important. And what I love about blogging, blog/website, same thing in a lot of instances, is that it's an outlet for my creativity. And a lot of people find their identity through blogging now because it's so easy to do. If you want someone, I can basically, the course touches on the key essential elements you should have on your blog, and then you can you can get a developer, you can get them on, I think Fiverr or even Elance or Freelancer. You can get a blog built for just a few $100s. And for me, it's been this incredible platform to reach the world, essentially. And that is the magic for me. It's, I create, I publish, I exist. And this ability to actually share my thoughts with the world and then get feedback in real time, it just basically encapsulates my creativity, and I just love that part of it.
Thank you. So start with a purpose that you're passionate about. Start blogging about that.
Yep.
Because that's obviously going to give you the energy. It's going to give you the motivation. It's going to be a drive. It's going to switch from being a discipline, something I have to do, to something that I believe and I'm passionate about.
Yep.
How much time a week should people be to make this effective? How much time should people be putting aside to do the blogging and do the promotion?
Okay, so when I started, I was doing it 2 or 3 times a week. And then I started getting feedback, which actually gave me that feedback in real time that allowed me to say, well, this is working. And I went up to 5 times a week. And I was actually, this is what's great about blogging too, is you actually can generate a business in parallel with your full-time job. So I got up early. In fact, I got up at 4:30 in the morning because I was so driven by this passionate purpose that I got up and did this for 4 years. But what happened is I sort of developed this, bootstrapped myself out of having a full-time job as well as having my blog in the mornings, and it became my business. So I've basically been full-time for the last 2.5 years because what happened is the people I was working for in a digital agency said, Jeff, you're so distracted, you get invited to speak around the world, you're not here very often. Sorry, we're going to cut you down to 2 days a week, 1 day a week. So I sort of got myself slowly fired because my passion project became my business. And So essentially, I found the blog is this great outlet I can run in parallel without giving up the day job, without actually risking my existing cash flow. Because a lot of people say, well, I have to go and start a business. I've got to leave my existing job. The wife goes, well, hang on, who's going to pay the bills? Oh, trust me, dear. So this sort of thing, or vice versa, the wife says, look, I want to do this and giving up my day job too. So the understanding, what's happened for me, and this is happening for a lot of people now, is you can build this parallel business on the side without risking your cash flow. So you can bootstrap it. In other words, you are absolutely minimizing the risk. So to go back to the original question, how often you should do this? Well, I'd be looking at trying to create content at least once a week, but I would recommend doing it as often as you can. And because more content, better quality as you learn, and also the more you do it, the better you get at it. And when I started, I wasn't a very good writer at all. And people say, well, I'm not a writer. Well, I wasn't either. But you learn so much from the art of creation. I think as human beings, we're all innately creative. And that's really important to understand, is that the blog can be your digital portal to create. Whether you're a musician, you can actually share your music online. You can share your photography if you love photography. You can, if you love fashion, you can share ideas about fashion. And a passion project over time can very easily become, with focused effort, can become your opportunity to live a life that is not dictated by working for the man in the corporate office.
Perfect. Thank you. Fascinating. Fascinating. I love that. I got myself, was it kind of fired? Is that what you said? I got myself kind of fired.
Yeah, that's right. I sort of got myself kind of fired. That's right. So
that's what you call a quality problem, because you'd created such demand in your sort of quote unquote sort of part-time, your overt job, that you worked yourself out of your real job, which is a beautiful segue to be able to do that. I mean, how else could you do that other than through digital media?
No, well, it's very difficult to do that otherwise. So this is what excites me about digital business bootstrapping, I would call that. Understanding how this digital world now works, and this is part of my passion and purpose now, is actually to help people discover their passion and purpose. And this is what the blogging course is really about, is helping people, one, discover that or enhance it, and then start the journey. And that's why I created the course, and this is why I go and speak around the world, is basically helping people to market their business and their brands. Basically, helping people win at business and life in a digital world, because the reality is that life and business doesn't have to be different things. It should be life. And that's what really excites me, is that this democratization caused by this digital world allows us so cheaply now and quite easily. So we've got another question here from Jennifer. How did you generate income when you first started? Jennifer, what happened was I was invited to speak in Italy, and that was one of my first ways I made money, was being invited to speak, because I was seen as an authority in my space. So that happened, and then also I wrote an ebook, which I put on Amazon, and started making money out of that. I built the email list, and then I also started making money out of recommending and promoting other people's quality online training that I believe people need to know and understand. So there are so many ways to earn money, and from a blog. It could be selling digital products. It could be getting more consulting, and I did a fair bit of consulting as well. But it started with speaking for me. Okay, I think any other questions out there from any of you, I'm happy to answer them. So, if we haven't any more, then we might wrap it up. And the blogging course.
Just another quick.
Yep.
Just another quick one from me, Jeff. The blogging course, Blogging Mastery, $25 reduced from $197. Previously, was a $2,000 course. So, we're offering that for something like, I don't know what the math is on that, but a very tiny percentage of the original. How long does it take for people to work through that?
There's over 4 hours of video content. So if you sat down for a day and took notes and did some of the exercises, you could do that in a day. So
And so you
$25
could,
for a day of
yeah,
training. Yeah. And basically this is what I learned from blood, sweat and tears in over the last
mm,
4 to 6 years, and it's basically put
mm.
into 4 to 8 hours. So yeah.
So, so folks, investing in the course, and Jeff and I aren't doing any sort of affiliate arrangement here, so I'm recommending it because I think it's extraordinarily valued, and the return on investment is would be unmeasurable, exponential. So people could literally do the course this week and be blogging next week. And if you go to Fiverr or Upwork.com, someplace like that, you can get someone probably for literally like $100 to start add a blog page to your website.
Yep.
So no real reason not to do it, I wouldn't think. Jeff, thanks so much, and thanks everyone for rocking up. We will be attempting to organize a replay. Hopefully the recordings work well, and we'll get that replay out, and you'll be able to see also when we do the replay. We can do a replay, Jeff. I should check with you first.
I'll try and organise that, guys. So yeah.
So we'll get a link out to everyone with a replay, and I think you can learn from this. You can get value from this at two levels. One is the actual, well, probably three levels. The content that Jeff's delivered, number one. Number two is doing the blogging mastery program itself. But number three is just to sit back and see how Jeff does things. Subscribe obviously to his blog, get onto his mailing list, and just have a look at exactly what he's doing and when he's doing it and how he's doing it, and you'll be able to learn a lot from that as well. Once again, thanks so much, Jeff, for giving up your time.
Thanks, Tom, for hosting it.
Everyone, for connecting. Okay, all the best, everyone. Cheers.
Okay, catch you.